The Cadillac Optiq rides on the same platform as the Equinox EV, the much beloved one, but it's a luxury vehicle. Let's go take a look. Hi everyone, Outsider Pat here, and I personally own an Equinox EV, so I'm very familiar with this platform and basically the whole style of it. However, there are quite a bit of differences, as you would expect, in a different price tag. This is a luxury EV in everything it stands for, but there are some new things in 2026. So the first thing I want to do is take a look at what those are, and let me kick that off. First and foremost, choices. Everybody loves choices. Well, the 2026 version is going to give you even more options, and we're talking about more power or drivetrain options. So you have the option 1, which is the same one as 2025. So dual motor, all-wheel drive, 300 horsepower, 354 pounds-feet of torque. And then you have a single motor, rear-wheel drive, 315 horsepower, or a more advanced dual motor setup that's going to put out 440 horsepower and 498 pound-feet of torque. So that's actually quite a more advanced, and I think that Cadillac should probably have started launching the Optiq with this kind of horsepower. I mean, the 440 horsepower, 498, just to put it a step above the Equinox. The option 1 has the same power output, same 0 to 60 time as the Equinox EV, and well, Cadillac owners usually tend to want a little bit more. So option 2 so far is my preferred, but of course, let's not forget the V Series performance electric vehicle, 519 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque for a 0 to 60 time for 3.5 seconds. So that is ridiculously fast, and I love it. I'm all for it. Now, I do have option 1 over here, so the 300 horsepower, 354 pounds-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in approximately 5.8 seconds, give or take. And then we have a range of 486 kilometers or 302 miles of range. So there you have it. You'll notice that, yeah, there's a little bit of a range discrepancy if you're an Equinox owner. By the way, if you want to know the differences, I have a side-by-side video of the Cadillac Optiq and my Chevrolet Equinox EV, and I just go over some of the differences. So if you're interested in that, have a look. And speaking of look, let's go right into the look, overall look. The front grille is one of the major differences between the two vehicles that share the platform. This one is much flatter. Maybe that accounts for the 5 miles less of range that you get, but it is a much more, I don't know, I want to say a little bit more aggressive looking kind of front fascia. It looks really cool. These are all lights. They light up and give you a little dance when you initially unlock the vehicle. And I like the linear LED lights. And of course, the headlights would be over here. These LEDs are the headlights, and that would be a good thing because it's not like behind or anywhere, so snow doesn't get caught up in there. So that's actually a pretty good design of it. Speaking of design, the spokes design looks pretty good, and I've got some 21s on there. So this is the sport trim, not the premium sport trim, and this trim actually is pretty good. One of the very cool things about the Optiq is, you know, Super Cruise comes standard. That kind of almost makes it up for the price jump on its own, but again, revert to my other video for that. If I look at the charging here, 2026 will have a NACS charger. My tester does not have the CCS, so capable of charging 150 kilowatt speed. It's I'd say okay. It's definitely not one of the faster charging vehicles out there. We know there's like 250 kilowatts, 350 kilowatt hour kind of charging speeds, so just be mindful of that. It's not the fastest charging, but all in all, I live with it. It does pretty good job. I have no issues with it. Most people are gonna charge it at home overnight. It's just for road trips, but that could be improved quite a lot better. Even 190 would be appreciated. And I know the Cadillac Optiq that I reviewed not too long ago, go check that one out. It has 190 kilowatt charging speed. Here's take a look at the key fob. It's just your regular key fob. I wish they would do something a little bit different for the Cadillacs, just a Cadillac logo as opposed to a Chevrolet or GMC logo. I do appreciate this button here, the remote start. Instead of always having to go through an app, I like having it on the key fob. I think that's pretty cool. We do have power folding mirrors, and of course, handles that go flush, completely flush. Now, these are not my favorite handles. I have no issues with flush handles, but I much prefer the ones on the Equinox. And the reason being is, one, they pop out like this as opposed to the other way. And two, it's just such a flimsy handle. It really doesn't give me a good, strong, sturdy vibe that, you know, that big Cadillac build vibe. And let's face it, they kind of look like the Tesla handles, which I'm not particularly a big fan on. And I would like to think that people are shopping for these kind of EVs, or people that want something different from Tesla. So why are we taking cues from Tesla? Let's be different. That is my opinion here on this channel. Sun just came out, and as we go in the back here, you'll notice one big omission here is no rear wiper, and that's kind of a surprise. And as you stand back here, hear that beep? That is a hands-free opening. So you just walk back, you have the key fob in your pocket, and it's just gonna open for you. You can always open from the key fob as well. With the seats up, we're looking at 26 cubic feet of space. Now, I do have different settings that I can drop it. If I pull this up here, you can have it be lower at the lower setting here. I can slide it in there. Here we go. So you do have a couple inches more of that. Also, when you have it regular setting, you can open it and you have a small compartment. Now, it is smaller than the Equinox. When I was doing the comparison there, it is smaller. So the Equinox has, maybe it's twice the size of this one, and same depth. This is pretty deep, but yeah, you can maybe fit one container of windshield washer fluid in there as opposed to like 6 in the Equinox. Overall, pretty good. I don't have on the sport trim, I do not have any kind of electronic way to lower the seat, so I'm just going to press the latch here, drop it, and that is going to free up, here we go, 57 cubic feet of space with the seats down. I like the space, the cargo space in the Optiq. I find that it's actually really good, really usable. And in the comparison I did between the Equinox and the Chevrolet Blazer EV, I kind of found that it wasn't much more cargo space when you do go with the Blazer. So same thing applies to the Lyriq. So when you're shopping around, just know that when it comes to the Lyriq and the Optiq, pretty much the same amount of cargo space, just more shoulder width. Barely any more leg room really, so you got to factor that in. That's why I am one of the guys that really likes the Optiq. I think it does a really good job at maximizing cargo space, maximizing leg room and everything without having that Lyriq price tag or handling for parking when you're parking in a tight parking spot. As we're going in the back here, you can start seeing there's like kind of carpet kind of fabric here. Metallic speakers, part of the 19 speaker AKG system. Metallic handle, looks pretty good. Some piano black here, but yeah, got a lock and unlock button, some leather, and then you got this kind of fabric, very similar to what you see in Volvo. It's actually pretty much identical to the interior of Volvo. They have kind of like this felt fabric here, pretty cool. I have room for a cup holder down here. As we take a look at the back, obviously leather seats here, looks pretty nice, white stitching, nice white vehicle. And I have a pretty decent amount of leg room, 37.8 inches of leg room back here is pretty good. And before I step in, just to show you, I have ventilation, USB-C ×2, and a 3-prong outlet. So I think it's 120 volt if I'm not mistaken, but it's not written on there. I do have a little bit of storage down here. Almost a flat floor here. I do have a slight hump with the carpet here. And now I'm gonna step in. There we go. I am 5'9" and my knees are pretty close. This is my driving position. I drive very far back, so it's one of those things that when you drive very far back, yeah, my knee position here, I'm 5'9". Headroom, pretty good. I have a panoramic glass that doesn't open, so it's fixed glass, and yeah, overall pretty good about it. I do have a light in here to press, and there you go, it activates, turn it off, and a holy crap handle. Overall, I'm pretty good back here. I cannot recline these seats, so I kind of wish I could, but yeah, the comfort level is fairly good. Now as we go in the front seat, if ever the vehicle is locked and it's not sensing it, I just push on it, it pops the handles, and I pull, and that's gonna unlock the whole vehicle. As we can see, again, some more carpet fabric here, as long as with your seat adjustment. Now you do have, you know, all kinds of seat adjustment, including the memory functions here. I got heated seats, but not ventilated for the sports trim, because these seats are not perforated leather. And of course, this is my lumbar adjustment. However, if you go up in trim, this kind of becomes a lumbar adjuster and massage seat kind of selection. I do not have the massage seat function. These are your control, metallic handle, big speaker, part of the AKG sound system. I like this. It's kind of like, looks like a white ceramic piece of plastic, which you see throughout, which is way better than piano black. And the felt kind of comes in handy quite a bit when you do store your bottle here, to not, you don't feel like the plastic or rubbing against anything. So that becomes very solid and stays in place. As we get a look here, again, we got some more of that white plastic, and this is the trunk button, the parking brake, and your visibility. You can start seeing a little bit the 33-inch curved display that this is part of. Steering wheel has buttons that are somewhat tactile and not. So your advanced cruise control, heated steering wheels here. I'm going to turn that off. It's not cold enough for that yet. And then your phone calls, and then all your steering buttons. I like it. It works. I'm old-fashioned. I kind of prefer just regular button than these. You do depress and press them, so you do feel that. I like the middle, that if they put the carpet here and they put glass over it, so if I do spill a drink, it's not going to stain forever. And that is my one concern with these kind of fabric, is that, you know, staining and such, and maintaining and cleaning might be a bit of a pain. I do have some storage down here, pretty good, and well as, there you go, the two USB-Cs kind of hidden away next to this other storage compartment here, and the small one, there you go, right here, maybe for some sunglasses and such. And I'm just gonna show you the seat again. Leather seat, pretty comfortable, pretty wide. I like typical GM seats. And let's get in. Take a look at this curved display, highly customizable, and you do that over here. I do like that there's a compartment here for that, so I can make adjustments. So let's say I select, there we go, layout, energy. You got your energy. So 100%, it gives me 486 kilometers, dimension of 302 miles. Maps, so Google built-in maps. Really good system for a long road trips. It pre-plans all your charging points and everything. Pretty good. Driving assist. This is equipped with Super Cruise. So we're talking about level 2 hands-free driving assist. Really great. You start seeing more and more maps. And this is the clean gauge. But you'll notice on every single one of them, it's either telling you like, it's only telling you the range. So that is kind of one of my gripes about it, is that I like knowing the exact percentage of battery, but here it's kind of just a line. It's a line on all the others, so you're 0, and then I guess this is 80% and 100% over here. I just, you know, I want numbers. That's just the kind of person I am. I have a traditional wiper stock here, and of course rain sensing wipers, and this would be normally for the rear wiper, but now it's just a rear camera washer. Now if we do want to engage that, let's go press the foot on the brake, pull towards you, kind of shifter up for reverse. And I do have a dirty camera over here, And let's take a look here and spray it. So that's how it would work. I guess it's still a little bit dirty. Okay, that's better. That's nice and clean. So you can clearly see here that good camera quality, and you do have quite a bit of angles. Over here, these are the buttons that you would get normal access. This is the glove box. So you open that. Open. There we go. You press it, it opens. I don't like that. I just have a regular mechanism to open the glove box personally. So angles over here. So hitch, it would be this. So trailer hitch, capable of towing 1,500 pounds for those who are wondering. And then this is your standard view. To park, I just press this button here and it parks. Now again, we're back at the Google built-in navigation system that just pre-plans all your routes and everything, but you can also download apps such as Waze, and on the Equinox you cannot have Prime Video. I haven't been able to anyways, but in the Cadillac you can, so you get more apps to download with Cadillac. Overall response is really good, crisp quality screen. And then you have your shortcuts here, highly customizable. You can just drag and place it into a shortcut if need be, or move it around. So I kind of like that. Drive modes are done 100% through the screen. That's something I do not like. I feel like there's some buttons here. I know one of them is going to be for V power, just like for the V series perhaps, and to unlock the whole power. But you could have a drive mode button up here. Come on, Cadillac, make it happen. So I don't like having it done through your screen, but again, you can add it to your shortcuts so it's faster. So drive modes is Tour, Sports, New, in My Mode, where you can customize how you want your vehicles to behave. So from your steering, you can sport or touring, sport and touring, basically for everything, acceleration. And as I go to over here, this is your more shortcuts. These ones are fixed, so this is to turn off the vehicle, this is to leave it on, and obviously the glove box, and one pedal drive. I do love how this one pedal drive is quite tuned. Right beneath that, so this is where a big difference would be. On the Equinox, you would have a tab that would be strictly for HVAC. So the screen is a little bit larger. It would drop down to here, and then here we have our ventilation. It's got twist, turn, and yeah, it's okay. Not my favorite. Yeah. So, and then we have toggles here for HVAC controls, which I do appreciate, although I kind of miss a knob, you know, for temperature. This is dual climate control, of course. And then you have some more shortcuts here, and a wheel as long as a volume button, which I like to use, and to press the volume button to put it on mute. Center storage is pretty narrow, but it also identifies that your wireless charger. This is a very good location for a wireless charger. It makes it extremely convenient. It just slides in, stays in place, charges, no problem there. So overall, you have a very nice interior. Oh, let me show you, obviously, the rear camera that turns in. There you go. When the rear mirror camera, and then that turns, you can actually use this. So this is how much the visibility. I feel like the visibility is a little bit less than in my Equinox. For the rear window, it seems a little bit smaller. Maybe it slants a little bit more. As I mentioned, the Equinox seems to be more upright, and this one seems to be slanted more. That's probably why the visibility seems a little bit less. Overall, comfort, space, really good. So that's why I'm a pretty wide individual, folks. I have some nice broad shoulders on me. And I feel like the Optiq is plenty of room. So the fact that the Lyriq offers 2 inches more on either side, I don't think that's a valid argument. I don't know how big you guys are. Just comment below. But I'm just kidding. Don't tell me how big you are in the comment section. But definitely comment whatever you want. Now we're going to go for a drive. All right, so we're in sports mode. I've got one pedal drive on. Come to a stop. I ain't going on a downhill, but it's okay. Just... there you go. Full power Chewy. And that's, you know, plenty of power in my opinion. But I do appreciate that you have that advanced all-wheel drive option that gives you over 400 horsepower. And then you got the V series giving you over 5, almost 600 horsepower. Yeah, that's where it's at. We always want more power. But if you're shopping around for the option 1, 300 horsepower, you're still not going to miss out. You're going to be faster than most vehicles out there. It's not going to be an issue, I guarantee you. Now, one thing that this does have that the Chevrolet version, the Equinox EV, does not have is a adaptive dampers kind of suspension. And it's a lot smoother, less body rolls on curves, less bounce back when you're driving and you hit some bumps and everything. It is a very smooth drive. I would like a rear wiper, but that is life. This one does not have one. Maybe they will. But as I'm driving, range is pretty good and it's pretty attainable in perfect conditions. Like right now, the weather is only 7 degrees Celsius, so I do have the heater on, and that's just the kind of weather we have currently. But in the summer, if you're cruising around, not using too much HVACs, you can actually attain these range numbers, which is quite refreshing, right? Because we're almost at the 500 kilometer mark, but we are over the 300 mile mark, and I find that a lot of people are going to appreciate that, albeit the charging could be a little bit faster. For the 150 kilowatt charging speed, it's not that fast. Overall comfort as I'm driving, if you look at the noise, vibrations, harshness, there's none to be seen. Sometimes people are complaining about some vibrations going on in the HVAC system or the vents or the screen. I haven't identified any of that going on as an issue here, so that is definitely really good. And this one's plenty of power. I'm looking forward to testing the V series, but I can tell you that it's just faster, but I like how smooth the acceleration is and such. Steering is a good size. Visibility is also pretty good. I can see pretty clearly all around me with the 360-degree camera. That kind of just takes any worries out of the equation. At my height, I can see over my hood, so it's pretty easy to navigate in tight spots. I am on a bit of a rough road here, and as I'm hitting some spots, I can definitely feel a difference from the Optiq to the Chevrolet. It's just less bounce. It really absorbs the impact quite well. Overall, after driving it for a week and just lugging the family around and everything, it's everything that I would expect and then some. It's got better range numbers than the Blazer, the Lyric, and I can definitely see the appeal to go to the Optiq. Personally, of the Cadillacs between Lyric and Optiq, I would definitely personally choose the Optiq just because the price is pretty well priced. My tester here is $70,000 Canadian, and I find that, you know what, I like the sport trim and I like Super Cruise, so definitely a hands-free driving assist makes it long drive really a lot less stressful, a lot less draining. You get to your location and you feel like you have more energy. And one thing that I like about it, the updates, because they constantly update it, is now it will notify you when you're not in the proper lane if you're using the built-in navigation. So if you're using Google and you have your Google Maps loaded for a destination and you are in the wrong lane, it'll come in and advise you need to switch lanes to stay on your trip. So that's something that it didn't have prior to. Now I'm looking forward to them having it where it actually takes that lane instead of just advising you, and does basically the navigation as well. We're not quite there yet, but I look forward to that. And I have noticed that it's not just on major highways now, it's on side roads as well. So they're constantly mapping the area and everywhere around. The fixed glass was surprising to me, as you do have a panoramic sunroof that does open in an Equinox EV, so that was kind of strange. But overall, I'm quite happy, I'm quite comfortable, and the range is pretty good. You can attain that range, which is definitely feeling pretty good. And yeah, this is definitely my preferred Cadillac EV until I'm gonna drive the V Series. If you've enjoyed this review, please think about subscribing, press like, and definitely drop a comment below, as that will help traction in this YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you in the next review.